Special Olympics British Columbia Coach Diary with Dr. Laura Ferris. Supporting athlete motivation.
Supporting athlete motivation. Motivation is a very complex topic. What we're going to look at is one element related to motivation that you can control as a coach, and it relates to the type of motivational climate that you create. When we think about motivation, athletes are optimally motivated when three basic needs are met. The first one is that they want to strive for competence. They want to show that they can be successful and be able to do things. And that's a lot about how you structure the environment, the types of activities you set them up for, being able to challenge them, but also being able to have them allow some success. Feeling connected to what's going on. So part of the team, part of the group, trusting you as a coach. If that need is met, athletes will feel more connected to what's going on and then will feel ultimately more motivated. And the final one, which relates to what we're going to talk about, is being able to feel in control of their own choices and their actions. What we call being autonomous. Being able to choose what you do, when you do it, how you do it. And if an athlete has a level of choice within an environment, they will actually be more motivated to continue and persist longer. So as a coach, what we look at is two different types of motivational climates. One of them is called autonomy, being autonomy supportive as a coach. And I'll explain what that is in a second. And then the other part is being more controlling. And you have to see these along a continuum. Basically, we are all a little bit controlling sometimes, and we're all sometimes autonomy supportive in certain situations. What's important is to recognize is what situations will pull out that controlling side of us versus allowing us to give athletes more choice. When we think about that, we think about situations where coaches are looking to be more supportive in how they can affect an athlete's level of motivation. And one of the things is understanding athletes' perspective. How can I be more autonomy supportive is really understand your athletes and where they're coming from. If you're asking them to do something, the tendency sometimes is to get them to want to do it exactly as you want to. But in order to be more autonomy supportive, we want to allow the athletes a little bit of space and latitude to be able to do it in a way that maybe they see as they're evolving into their skill level. So taking an athlete's and understanding their perspective is important. Acknowledging their feelings. Sometimes athletes are frustrated, sometimes they're tired. It doesn't mean that they have to stop doing what they're doing to become absorbed by that emotion, but sometimes it can be really helpful for the coach just to acknowledge. I know you're feeling tired. We've got one more drill left. This one's going to be about this. If we do this, we'll be able to feel a little bit more successful in our game or be a little bit fitter in our performance. So we give this rationale for why the task is important, but we also acknowledge how the athlete is feeling in that situation. And sometimes it's hard because you as a coach have competing feelings and emotions. And this is where we really have to be able to sit back and pull our own emotions in and be really able to try and suspend them while we try to understand what's going on for the athlete and be able to acknowledge that so that they'll still be encouraged to be able to do the task. The other thing is providing athletes with information and opportunity for choice while minimizing kind of controlling feedback. And what I mean by that is sometimes we'll say things to coerce people, to try and encourage them to do something, but in kind of a controlling way. We think about it as a parent. Sometimes you do that with your kids to be able to get them to do something. Maybe there's a bribe involved. Maybe there's a little bit of coercion in order to encourage them to do that. In short-term things, that's okay. But when we look at it from an athlete motivation perspective, we want to be encouraging them to do it because they want to do it, not because they have to do it. And they understand the difference between those two. So when we think about that, we want to provide the athletes with feedback and opportunity to make their own choices. Okay, we're going to do a warm-up drill today. What kind of warm-up drill do you want to do? We're going to play tag to warm up. What kind of tag do you want? So we're giving athletes that opportunity for choice and insight within there. So if we look at specific things that you can do to support athletes from a more autonomy supportive type of style, is you provide them with choice within reason, within the activities that you're doing. You provide reasons for why you're doing tasks, which help athletes understand when they're uncomfortable or they're doing something maybe that's hard, that there's a reason for doing it. And ultimately, that actually helps them be more motivated to be able to do it and persist, even in the discomfort. Demonstrate respect for others' feelings, and this will actually help athletes understand how you expect others to be treated as well. Allow athletes to work independently and to have input into specific skills or situations just by finding out what they think, what they're noticing, allows that opportunity for athletes to feel part of what's going on. Provide competence feedback. So the positive reinforcement, giving them that information so they know how they're doing, and then allowing them to be able to change their behavior based on what you've told them. The other thing is avoiding the coaching behaviors that seek to make the athlete do something because you want them to do it or they have to do it. So that coercion, trying to be a little bit, almost sometimes bullying people into doing something that you want them to do. And the long-term effect of that is that it will decrease athletes' motivation. So by trying to give athletes a little bit more choice, understanding their feelings, we can really impact that motivational climate. And ultimately, that has an impact overall in seeing athletes with more persistence, more effort, more drive, and ultimately better performances.